Welcome to another video blog with myself, Greg Day, Security CTO for Symantec. So I wanted to talk to you today about Neloweg, which is a new botnet. And you're probably thinking, botnets, they've been around for a long time, so why is this one different? Well, the first thing is this isn't a big new, high risk threat. Actually, it's low risk. We've seen it only targeting a small number of users, and it's generally been focused around trying to steal online banking credentials from both UK banks and some banks in the Netherlands. So why is this worth our time? Well, what was of interest to me is some of the techniques that it's actually using, which were new. Firstly, it was how actually it gets itself up and running, and it's used some new techniques to try and inject itself into the browsers we use, Internet Explorer, Firefox, and how it gets called every time we load and use those browsers. And those methods were trying to avoid traditional monitoring techniques. Secondly, and really very interestingly for me, is it actually runs natively as Java within the browser. And so this is this kind of ongoing shift we see from traditional executable attacks to actually something now that is kind of far more application specific, and also key here is functioning in that kind of web sphere of communication that we use. The final thing I found interesting here was actually, unlike traditional botnets that would generally download, if you like, some configuration files that determine what they do, where they communicate with, how they function, everything here was, if you like, web or cloud-based. So those configurations that control what it does and how it functions were actually all out there on the cloud. Again, make it harder to detect, potentially making it more dynamic in what it could do. So what does this actually mean to you? Well, as I said at the start, this is really only a low-risk attack. What was interesting for me, and hopefully for you, is some of those new techniques that are actually highlighted in this kind of ongoing evolution of cyber attack that we see. The one thing that I would highlight, if you rely heavily either on heuristics or things like file monitoring capability as a key part of your defense, then I would go back and look at the technical details behind this attack and just make sure that both those heuristics or monitoring capabilities you use can pick up the specifics of this kind of attack. So, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you on the next blog.